Hello, people. Transfer window is on the horizon, so we're going to do some transfer value rankings. It sounds a bit complicated, but it's not. It's very easy. What we're going to do is we're going to go through 10 of the hottest transfer rumours right now, or the players that are being linked with moves away, and we're going to rank them in order of how valuable they would be in terms of a sale for a team. So, for example, we're thinking about the wages that player is on, the age, the contract length they've got, the durability of that player, what impact they could bring to you as a club, whatever that club might be. And we've got 10 here, and we're going to go from 10 to 1. Does everyone understand?
Yep.
What?
Comprende.
Comprende. We've got Ben Bowman. We've got Carell here, and they are bringing knowledge. So let us know if you agree with our picks here and the order of it, or if there's some value that we've missed out on, because that's part of the fun. Let's begin with 10th spot. So let me give you a list of the players that we are going to be discussing. We have, in no particular order, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba, Antoine Semenyo, Mark Gay, Yan Diomande, Ayoub Bouadi, Edison, Jean-Philippe Mateta, and Kobbie Mainoo. All have rumours around them. All waiting for a bomber from Fabrizio. The bomber will be back very soon. We're just weeks away. So let's kick off with 10th spot in terms of the value of a player. And we'll go with... So in my 10th spot, I'll kick us off, shall I? I've gone for Mr. Diomande.
Yep,
now,
same.
a lot of people... Have all three of you gone him last? Okay. So this isn't to dig him out. Maybe this is sort of post-traumatic Premier League fan stress. I don't know. But he's 19. He is a really exciting player. He reminds me, feels like a bit of a because he's 19, he's not filled out as much. He's like a Doku Semenyo hybrid at the moment for me. 15 goals, 7 assists, 15 appearances, 7 goals, 4 assists in just under 1,000 minutes. And this is important here for you guys. So we're going to use Transfermarkt. His apparent value is 17.5. His wages, according to Capology, never heard of before, is about 12k. And the rumoured price, with both Liverpool and Spurs sniffing around, is 88 million.
Jeez.
Ben,
Euros or pounds?
Great point.
Neither will make me feel better.
Pounds.
Yeah, good luck.
So left winger, and scored a hat-trick at the weekend.
Yeah,
didn't he? He's linked with Spurs. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a hell of a lot of him. I know there's a lot of people that I kind of trust in terms of their opinion that are very excited about him. But also, like, Leipzig have got other younger talents there that they might like. Antonio Nusa is another one that I think if you were a Premier League side, has done it there for slightly longer, was linked with a couple of Prem sides when he was at Club Brugge, I think. So I think there might be other players that might cost you in and around the same amount, but you can trust their kind of body of work slightly more than maybe Diomande, who's just 19. It feels like a very, very expensive punt on someone that's got a hell of a lot of talent from what I've seen in limited kind of minutes. But I think there are other pieces of that Leipzig puzzle that I think other teams might look at first.
Steer clear of Leipzig forwards.
Hey.
Stick.
Yeah.
Honestly,
not Xavi Simmons.
Not even include for me, there's always that fear of translatability from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, and I think in term, I would even say the Premier League, but in general, I don't think Bundesliga forward strikers, wingers travel well outside of that league.
Nick Voltemada is screaming.
Yes, no, but that's an outlier. And you know what it is? It's. I don't want to compare him, but it's just like he's more. I say like if Haaland's the safe side, and then like Timo Werner's like the scary side, based on
Vietnam,
like physical profile and all these things, he's closer to the Haaland side for me.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, when I watch them, I'm like, okay, I try and see the scenarios in which they're getting their goals and assists and like what the state of play looks like when that happens. And a lot of the times with Bundesliga forwards, I just think that doesn't happen in the Prem enough for you to score enough goals. It was a similar situation with, and I guess you being a better place to judge him, but it's like, that was my trepidation about Colin Wani when he left Eintracht Frankfurt because they were saying he was a striker, but a lot of his situations came from like drifting out really far to the left and having these open spaces to work within. And I was like, if you go to a top team in the Premier League where you've never seen a low block before because you've been playing in the Bundesliga, which is quite expansive, you're in trouble. Like Timo Werner looked like he looked like you can't miss.
Did you see?
And then
I think they were talking about it on SDS. Luis Diaz did an interview where he was talking about the fact that he genuinely could not believe like the amount of space and sort of almost time attackers afforded in the Bundesliga compared to the Prem. Like genuinely, like could not believe it. I think it's difficult when you judge kind of these Bundesliga talents that come over, because I think wide players, and that's again, like you said, another reason why I've got him low down the list, is that you just aren't going to get that space in the Prem. Whereas I feel like players like Simmons and Wirtz and those kind of guys, I'm not just saying that because I want it to come true, and I think you did see it come true a bit at the weekend with Simmons, is that I do think it is a rhythm thing and just getting up to the intensity, because I think that technical talent will rise to the top, and that's why Voltemar, I think, is doing really well.
Well, do you know as well? We've just done a video on this because I feel like with the Premier League being the way that it is, there is whatever is the sort of status quo. It's the players that break that are players that can break the game. Yeah. And I feel like Eze and Cherki and Foden and Rodgers and all those players that can be in those little spaces, get it and turn and affect the game from that point of view, and sometimes have the ability to stand still, which is what the video is kind of about. They're worth their weight in gold. Yeah. So like I know Simmons not totally like that, and Wirtz likes to get about as well. I actually think both of them are running too much, or certainly Wirtz. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree with you on that point, and I think you can kind of make your way through with it. The reason this one's number 10 for me is the people linked with him. You got Liverpool and Tottenham. For that guy to come into both of those teams, you got I always get nervous about his name, Rio. Liverpool Rio. Yeah. You said it earlier, didn't you? Finn's laughing in the back because we did a video and I was like, I said this. What did I do, Finn? I said his name about 8 different times. Yeah. Ngamo. Is it Ngamo?
Ngamo, Namoa. I think I've heard it said different ways.
Yeah.
You said it with conviction earlier in the pod before. That's what I was looking at. The fact that you've got both those guys, yes, he can play on both wings. So for a squad player, then great. But for Liverpool maybe, but you know, you'd want him to. It's quite a pressure cooker situation right now. You want him to hit the ground running when you've got a lot of players that haven't done that. But he does offer something very different to Gakpo and Salah, and can play on both sides, but in particular Gakpo. The Tottenham one, that feels like stay clear of this, because you've got Tell and you've got Odegaard and you've got all these other lads.
None of them have been able to nail down a spot, really. I think that's the thing. We've got, a bit like we were saying about Chelsea earlier, we've got some good youngsters, and then we've got some other profiles that don't necessarily fit. Like I don't like Johnson out there, really. Like Simmons has kind of played out there, but we know how much better he is in the middle of the pitch. And neither Tell and Odegaard have been able to grab it. They're both 2 young players that are probably...
Should you be giving up on those players?
No, you definitely shouldn't be giving up on them, but you don't want to chuck another one into the mix that then it's like, well, now there's a third young player in the mix who you've signed for even more money than... Odegaard was like 30 mil, Tell was like 30 mil as well, so it's not as much of a gamble, and there's potential real big upside there. And I think with the talent they've both got, you'd still be able to get some money back if it doesn't work out and you want to go and sign a superstar winger, which I think is, again, like a bit what we're saying about Arsenal. If you look at that Tottenham attack and you look where Kudus has just come in, Premier League ready, hit the ground running, Simmons is warming up a little bit, striker situation, okay, maybe you could do an upgrade there, but it's fine at the moment. Left wing, as much as I like some of the players that are there, it needs a Semenyo and Jai, someone like that, to just take it up a notch. This Diamondo's not going to be the guy to do it. It's going to put us in another expensive problem where it's like, okay, we still have another winger that can't quite take that left wing spot and just make it his. It's such an expensive gamble.
Yeah, you would imagine so. I agree. And that's why it's 10. Okay, 9th spot. Go on, Ben. Tell us who's your 9th.
I struggle with this because there's one guy that kind of keeps staring at me. But also, I've not seen a hell of a lot of...
How did you find this, by the way, putting together your did you find it
tough?
Difficult?
I think it's hard, 6 to...
We've got a lot
3
of
DN, or 2
we've got a lot
like...
of 6s, 8s.
Yeah. I was tempted to go with Mateta, but
it was.
He's slightly higher up for me, but I've gone with Biardi. I haven't seen loads of him, so I can't really. Again, like another.
So I've got. Okay, what's the best way to reveal it? So I've got Biardi a lot higher.
Okay.
Just because he's a bit of me. I think he's so young and so exciting. He's so, for anyone who doesn't know, 18 years old, 18 appearances. He's like Busquets with more legs, which is saying a lot. He's had a good, he's playing a lot of minutes, 1,265 minutes. Wages, he's just signed a new deal, I think. But his rumoured price for him, hang on, what does this say?
It was 52
Yeah, so,
million.
yeah, the rumoured, his transfer market value is 26.2 million, but the rumoured amount that people are going to pay for him is 52.4. He just looks like, especially with the sort of current tactical meta, and maybe it's a bit early because he's 18 and it's obviously going to take a bit of time, but playing in there's so many sort of double pivots now. There's so many twos in there. Tottenham, Arsenal, even if you're playing three at the back, you've got Man United to a point, got that. So many teams like that. Him in a two, he's the one who can, I'll stay, you can go, and he can kind of solve it and fit it. Able to drive with the ball at times, got a bit of size about him as well, not a total rake. And he's linked with Man United, PSG, Bayern, Real Madrid, Juventus, Inter Milan, Arsenal, and Chelsea. So I've got him higher.
Yeah, I think
I've got him fourth.
I've just not seen enough of him. But I probably would swap that then, and I probably actually would go. It feels low because he is really good, but I probably actually would go Mateta at 9 then, because I just think that you've said he's really good, Jean-Philippe Mateta, but is someone going to come in and pay, what was it? What, it's like 40, 50 million for him.
So who have you got in ninth?
Ederson.
I've got Ederson. Okay. Why? Let's do Ederson, then we'll talk about Mateta. I've got Ederson in 7th.
Yeah, that 9 to 7 was interchangeable.
It's
I would
always-
probably
this is
mention
super hard.
everyone I had in 9 to 7.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to value, let's talk about Ederson, then we'll get to Mateta. Because have you got Mateta much higher?
No, he's next up.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, I've got Mateta a little bit higher than that. So Ederson first from Atalanta, 26, 14 games this season, 1 goal, 1 assist, 39.3 million according to Transfermarkt. Contract expires in 2027, so kind of running out of time. And he has spoken about how he kind of wants to move on. Liverpool and Barcelona both linked with him. His wages are about 42,000, which that always feels low for anyone to be under
outside the Prem,
rumoured price 50 million. Now with all the guys we've got here, we've got a lot of sort of 6s, 8s, and Ederson is kind of one of those. I think he misses out a little bit. I've got him in 7th. The reason I've got him in 7th is because you could get the price down, I think, just because it's 2027. Or I guess Atalanta are going to try and hold on a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's just a little bit older at 26. And I think I would have expected he would have been bought by now.
And that's my...
I was going to say, he's been linked with a Prem move. That's what I've got him in 7th as well. He's been linked with a Prem move every year, it feels like. Tottenham, Man City, I think, have been linked with him previously. He's very good at winning the ball back, but he's also very good at driving forward with it. He's got end products as well. He does chip in with goals. He feels like the sort of perfect, again, like what you're saying about the kind of double pivot coming back, in terms of someone that can be a ball winner slightly high up the pitch, but then drive forward with it and have someone sit behind them and sort of anchor it a little bit more. So there's a little bit of a nagging thing in the back of my mind that if he was as good as people say he is, why wouldn't he have been snapped up already?
But then again,
do you know what?
But then people are waiting on the I was going to say, maybe people are waiting on the value.
I don't know, they didn't let him go, but I don't know. I just think for me, maybe it's proximity bias, and I do really like Buwadi. I think he's just the least exciting midfield prospect for me, and I think you look at the other guys on that list and how they could impact the clubs that they are linked with.
Yeah.
He just strikes as low. I know Buwadi's more of let's say, the wild card in terms of he's so young, so you don't know what you'll get straight away. But it's that feeling that he'll come.
In it, doesn't it?
But you get that feeling that if he goes on the trajectory that he's going, that he'll surpass wherever, even some of the players that are higher up than him. So that's the literal only reason he's obviously, Ederson's a good player. But again, I don't think any club would be itching to go and get him over anyone else, and would rather wait until his contract runs down, which by then he'll be 28. So
it's interesting, isn't it? Because that's why this is the nuance of all of these are in themselves interesting. Because say Buwadi, right? He's linked with all those players, right? He's not going to go to all those clubs. Sorry, he's not going to go to Juventus or Inter Milan. He's going to be going to one of those guys who got the money.
Yeah.
Real Madrid could easily be one of those, right? And I could imagine them. I could imagine them buying him,
and not
nearly ruining him, and then he has to go somewhere else and go.
Stay clear of Real Madrid.
Build back up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
As well.
But if I was Real Madrid, I think you could utilise the glamour of being Real Madrid, get him through the door for 50 million. They do need and could have games where you could build him into the team at times. And then you could actually make a lot of money for him. And I think you're safe with him. That's the thing. That's why I had him higher, because I think he feels like he'll definitely come good, because I think he's got the size. He's playing. Like, you talk about Bundesliga and players moving and not being able to do it. Liga 1's a little bit different, I think.
They travel well,
They do seem to travel well. Yeah, especially midfielders. So that's why I kind of had him higher. Edison's a funny one, right? Because, and you know what? Yeah, go on. I'm going to join you guys. I'm going to put Edison in 9. The reason I put Edison higher initially was because I think you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And so, say we're going to talk about Man United, I'd imagine, a lot with this list of players. If Man United don't get the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, he's a really good sixth one.
Yeah.
Because he's played a lot of games. Maybe there's a spotlight issue in terms of, like, you're at Atalanta, there's not that same kind of pressure for you. But he does get about the pitch really, really well. Like, I've got Anderson higher because I think Anderson is better and has more potential. But he's got a little bit of Anderson about him. He's better on the ball than people think. And because he's played so many games, I would imagine he'd be able to... Whereas like a 21-year-old steps into the Premier League, you think, you'd be nervous. And that's why we had Diamande bottom. Edison at 26, you think, at least he should be able to step in and get going.
But then it depends It depends what your actual, like, base level is when you arrive. Like, in terms of when you arrive and how good you can actually get to, because it's all well and good being like your experience, but then sometimes experience just means that's what you are now. So it's like,
yeah,
if he comes to the Prem and like he does well, is there scope for him to improve? And like you said, bringing up Man United, going for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they've arguably got like a top 3 one on that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, do I trust him to go? And we know the history of United as well in terms of signing. Like, do I trust him to even go to United and change their fortunes and make them any better than they are now? And that was another factor in it, which is impact. And if it's Man United,
I think because he's not going to. He could be steady and a good signing. I don't think he's going to change the world.
No, he's not like sexy, is he?
No,
really? And I think you're right. I think you could go through so many guys before. He just feels like quite a safe backup. But my thing with him is just like, and to be fair, I'll probably swap him and move Bialy a little bit higher up, but just because, again, not seeing those. But I think the potential value there is a lot bigger than what you're going to get with Edison. So I'll put him 7th and then drop Edison back down to 8th.
Because for these guys, especially these sixes, if you're going to come in, you for those top teams, I think that's a big point here. Is those guys that are going to come in, you want them as first team regulars immediately.
Yeah, it's the most important player on the pitch, really.
I mean, more and more, right? Okay, so next up, I've got in 8th spot, I've got Belieber.
I had Mateta.
Okay, let's do the Mateta chat. So I've got Mateta quite high.
There's no way.
Does
this not reek of a player that if he has a big move, like he's just not going to score goals anymore?
I'm with you.
So I've been told that he has been quite outwardly vocal, which is always outward, about wanting to go to Serie A.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
See, I think I'm looking at this through the value, like the lens of just Prem with Mateta. Of like, if I'm a Prem club that's looking at someone who's 28 on the verge of becoming 29, let's be honest, has had a real, like, I do rate him, but he's had a purple patch, and then this season has been fairly consistent in terms of goal scoring, but feels like he's almost not gone back to his old self, because it felt like he wasn't even getting chances necessarily before, but like missing a load of big chances. I just feel like, I don't know, for a Prem side,
I think you're right. So I think I agree with that. Yeah. I think the reason I've got him higher, and is he's sort of cheating, so I don't disagree with what you're saying. Linked with Tottenham and Man United. The Man United thing.
No, I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't think because you know what it is. He's lost. Wasn't it the last 2 seasons? He'll go into like January with like 2 goals and then score 17 and like 18 and so. Like, if you're if you do sign him in January and he does what he usually does, I mean, is he going to the World Cup? Probably not. But like,
probably not.
I just look at him as like,
would he score more goals than Seshko if you got him in January?
But I don't know though, because I think Sesko is
Same system to a point.
Yeah, and also Sesko. I mean, he's injured at the moment, so it's difficult to say. But like from what I've seen of him so far, not loads, but I think he could be a good facilitator for like. I think Mbeumo is their main goal scorer. I don't think United need to necessarily worry about, like you said, is it only Man City and Arsenal score more goals than United? That's not really been the problem. I don't think they're crying out for like a top number 9. They've made an expensive gamble on Sesko, which I think could pay dividends over time, but more as a like integral piece of the front three in terms of bringing the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo into play. Also, they've got Cunha that can go play through the middle. They've got Joshua Zirkzee as well, who, you know, I thought was actually quite decent at points for them last season, coming back a little bit this year, but still not necessarily the guy. But they're younger players. I'd rather, like, if I was a United fan, I wouldn't be looking as a strike. And the same as Tottenham as well. Like, I think people look at Tottenham and the lack of goal scoring and go, oh, they need to, Solanke's average, Richardson's average, Colomboani's average, they need to upgrade there. It's like, that's really not the problem. Our problem has been getting the ball from the back to the midfield, then to the strikers. We've not been creating chances. So it's like, if I'm Tottenham or Man United looking at Mateta in January, I don't see the necessity in it whatsoever.
Just so you don't get in trouble in the comments, the stat that you just said, I had said and got wrong. Arsenal have got 28 goals, Man City have got...
But so United are third.
United are third.
Yeah.
Just I just don't want to get any heat.
I just look at him and think, like, he's at his level. And even when you're saying, like, go to Serie A, to play where? You're not better than Marcus Thuram or Lautaro at Inter.
Yeah. I think
Lois Openda's just...
This is why I've got him higher.
He's at Juve. David's at Juve.
This is why I've got him higher. Hear me out.
AC Milan?
So I think if he goes to Serie A, I think he scores lots of goals. So I'm struggling with Mikey. If he goes to Serie A, yeah, I think he does. And I think, I saw a stat the other day. We might be doing a video on it. We haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I think
13 of the... Stay still. 13 of the 18 teams that played in Serie A the other week played 3 at the back.
Yeah.
So I think he would go there, and I think he'd do well, and he'd score goals. I also think 40 million, they're saying Palace, but they will listen to offers. His contract's up in 2027. I think you can get him for 30 mil, and I think in Serie A, he could be a real difference maker.
But 30 mil is a lot in Serie A. So, like,
Yeah,
that's why I'm trying to look at it and think, for who? Because if I look at the teams now that are in Serie A, and we're saying, like, you don't want to go to Serie A and then play, no disrespect, but, like, play for a team that's, like, let's say, at Palace's.
Yeah, no, I think he would go to a Milan or Inter.
Yeah, but you don't, like, at this point, I don't think he would play at Juve, and unless they move some players around, because they've got
Vlahovic, they've got David
they've got
and
Openda.
Yeah.
You go to Inter, you've already got Marcus Thuram and Lautaro, which is a solidified partnership.
Milan feels like the one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because Napoli have got Rasmus Højlund, who's actually doing the business.
And Lukaku's coming back at some point.
Lukaku's coming back.
Is he on loan though, Højlund?
Yeah, he's on. Yeah, but
back,
United aren't going to keep Højlund, are they? Like, Napoli will probably try and negotiate. Was there an option? I can't remember. There might have been an option.
I presume so.
Yeah, but these options, they're flimsy.
All right.
I
get what you're saying.
I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying value because I think you get him cheap.
Yeah, I think I was looking at it too much from like a Prem lens, but I also do think Carell's right in the sense of like 30 million for an Italian club, that might as well be 50 million for a Premier League club. It's still like a...
AC Milan have only got Jimenez and Nkunku.
Yeah, that's
and they are not liking Nkunku at the moment.
No, Jean-Philippe, you know where to go, mate.
He could go to Milan, but then...
I think that's the only one.
It's fun, isn't it? Surely for him.
Oh, it's fun, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Milan is
big
interesting.
Fish, big pond.
It is a big club. Like, obviously, if Milan come calling, like, you would go. But I'm looking at, like, career progression. I'm like, do you really want to go there in the mess that is, like, AC Milan at times? And
yeah, it's a bit of a... I mean...
Because Santiago Jimenez was scoring goals for fun before he went there.
I mean, the top of the league. AC Milan
right now.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There you go. All right, next up is... Who have I got? Okay. So I had Mateta in 5th. I've got Belieber in... I had Belieber in 8th.
Is that a recency bias thing?
No, so because he had a great game against Villa. I watched that.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. And I think he's pretty brilliant. And I think he could be great. My issue here is value.
Yeah, it's the money in
These
it.
are the transfer value rankings, guys.
Do you not... yeah.
21, so fair enough. 18 games. I forget goals and assists. He's not in that position, right? But his contract expires in 2028 with an option for a further year. So maybe 2029. I don't know if it's his or theirs.
I was just going to ask
that.
It'll probably be theirs.
But either way, 2028, right? So He's going to cost a lot. Rumoured price is 74.3. It's very specific.
It's not as bad as I thought.
I was going to say that's why I've gone a bit higher.
Do you? But I mean, how much do you want to be as important? I mean, look, we're seeing big numbers for the people in that position, but is he worth 74.3 million for you?
I wouldn't mind taking the gamble.
Where'd you have him? 7th?
I've got him 8th.
I've got him 6th. So not
I've got him 6th. Yeah,
not
I'm
loads higher.
I think
I think the talent is there, no doubt, and I love the way he punches the ball through. He sees that pass quickly, but he also has the ability to change his attention span to drive with the ball as well at times, and that I find that really exciting.
Yeah.
My issue is I didn't realise there's so many available guys that I don't think are hugely different to him, and I feel like with the contract that he's got, although saying that, Jesus, the other guys are going to they're all going to cost a lot.
they're all good.
Well, I think
I
when
just
you
think
look at
there's
like
a better version maybe
it
knocking
was
about.
definitely last season. It was him, Anderson, and Wharton that all got grouped into that. The line breaking pass, really exciting defensive midfielder in the Premier League that big clubs are going to go big on in the summer. Obviously, he was linked to United in the summer. I feel like maybe part of the reason for his poorer performances at the start of the season and his kind of yo-yoing in and out of the team was maybe a sort of off-pitch issue in terms of like having his head turned by Man United. And I feel like recently he's sort of picked up a little bit more again, like you said, against Aston Villa. I reckon I've got the other two higher than him, obviously, because I do think they will be more reliable, and I think you're still getting very good value for the money that those two will cost. But I think it's worth buying the dip a little bit on Belieber. I still think he's an insane talent, like insane talent. And if it was, like Tottenham, for example, because I feel like Anderson and Wharton have attached...
Because his stock's lower.
Exactly, and I feel like Anderson and Wharton have attached themselves because of the consistency of their performances to a higher calibre of team. But if I'm like
convincing me,
maybe that slightly lower down team like Tottenham who still need a player like that. Chelsea, you've got two. You've got Caicedo and you've got Lavia and Santos and all those kind of guys.
I'd have him in a heartbeat.
To play alongside Caicedo. Yeah, and that's the thing.
I think the only one better than him is Wharton.
Yeah. Do you know what?
I think he's better than Anderson. I think he's better than... genuinely, there's an element of like... At the end of last season, you make a list of like all those midfielders. You say, go and get Belieber, whatever the cost is, because Brighton's track record of selling midfielders, all of this stuff. He starts off the season horribly by his standards, and everyone goes, we're off the Belieber train. And that's why I'm with you, say, buy the dip, because realistically, whoever gets him and he finally gets that move and he can flourish at a bigger side, like, I believe he'll step up. And like you said, Liga midfielders travel well.
I think the thing to be, you're right. I'm getting convinced. I'd be useless at this.
It's really hard.
It's really, because I guess that is the point.
I've just vouched for him like
but the
this.
English,
bump him up. I've got the 6th as well.
The English, you can change it. The English sort of tax in terms of the spotlight of Wharton and Anderson as well. That's probably playing a part.
It adds because 20%.
One factor that we'll probably ignore when it comes to Wharton and based on his quality is also his availability though. He's liable for an injury.
Wharton.
So it's like, but I still have him as the best player. So as the best player, and listen, I support a club that's full of injuries, so I'm willing to be patient and work through someone's fitness issues whenever it arises. But it's like,
this is so hard.
Wharton, you could sign him and he could be out for 2 months.
Yeah,
in that space of time. So it's
how much of it you can get him for, Belieber?
I think you could get him for
right now.
So he's still got 2 and a bit years.
70 mil.
So you do need to pay 70
we
mil.
say this and then...
and if you pick him up and put it... I think you pick him up and put him in Man United's team, you obviously playing him straight away.
Yeah.
Anywhere... Like, I quite like the idea of him at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can spend the money. You don't have to play him in every game. Whereas I think Man United, he's in and he's in.
Yeah.
But I think if he goes to Liverpool, he gives Gravenberch that extra room to go and express himself and do the things he actually does well, because essentially looking at Liverpool, they saw what Gravenberch did last season and when rather than you being a placeholder in the actual like best solution possible for not getting a DM in, we'll just keep you there. And then as the season's gone on with all these changes around him, like they're leaving him exposed and he's got to do a little bit more defensive work than the stuff that he was actually renowned for in the first half of last season. So you bring in a Belieber and you give him that room. And I think you give Gravenberch that room now Verts further forward. I think he gets a bit more room.
The thought of a Belieber Gravenberg pivot is just that's
scary.
disgusting. Like that is
Right,
so-
I'm going to have to come back to Belieber because I'm in a bad space now. Kobe Mainu I had next.
Oh, he's high up.
Oh, he's
high up.
really high for me.
Really, so the thing with me with him is because how hurt has he been by this lack of development? And I guess there will be inevitably like some emotional toil in like what he's been through.
Especially because it's his club.
It's his club. He's been let down massively, in my opinion. Like, he hasn't been nurtured here as well. Like, he was like a star, and then as I say, I feel like he's been let down a little bit. He also, it's just which way is he going to go? Like, is it going to be like Garnacho, where you go and you go, oh yeah, I forgot he's really good, or can he? I'm not saying he's washed at all. Like, of course, no one's ever washed, but he's got to find himself again. Like that guy that played in that final has not been playing.
I feel like he's going to be. I just feel like he'd go somewhere. I feel.
I'd love him at Tottenham.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've been banging this drum for a few months now. I feel like he seems quite like quiet and humble and not introverted as a personality. So I don't think many people would necessarily expect him to come out with the big bravado of like, I'm going to prove people wrong wherever I go next. Maybe it's just the sense he'll just kind of just get on with it. But I feel like he'll just do the talking in terms of his performances, because whenever he's come on for Man United, let's be honest, like he doesn't look like he's lost it. I remember the Man City game. All right, game state they were 3-0 down or whatever, 3-1 down. I can't remember. But he did that little nutmeg on whoever the City midfielder was, drove forward, did all of the things that we remembered him for doing for England and for Man United under Ten Hag before Ruben Amorim came in as well. So I just feel like he's gonna not quietly go about his business, but just like there is bound to be a bit of ring rust there. But I don't see it. I just feel like he's gonna come in straight away and hit the ground running.
I think, like, I know you made a point about like how much development has he missed out on, but has he actually been developed since he got into the first team, other than just getting minutes and playing and doing what he does?
That's really
because
fair.
like you could sit here now and say, right, if he goes to a club next month, what's his best position? Like what's his like? We just know Kobe Mainu does Kobe Mainu things, and we just put him somewhere and it makes it work. If he had been developed, we would have had a situation where we look at him and say, right, this is who you are and this is how you fit. The same way we could speak about Belieber and Elliot Anderson.
Do you see
or
that's
what?
a positive or negative?
A positive, because I feel like the next place he goes, he's still young enough to be allowed to refine himself and like give himself a footballing identity other than you're just a really talented player. And I think it's a criticism on Amorim, because I'm sure like he could have fit in different roles depending how you constructed the midfield.
Yeah.
But you're opting to not play him because you almost see like he doesn't have a defined role. But I'm saying
with
he's that
Amorim,
good.
you fit into his system, not the other way around. That's like, I had him quite low because I think it might be a loan initially.
Yeah.
So if you're the team
agent
buying him, like how much value are you getting from that aside from that little pocket of time?
Yeah, that's true.
The second thing, again, back to that sort of double pivot era we're in at the moment. Like, is the one thing my one concern with him at times is that he's wonderfully composed, but he's not the most athletic.
No, but I feel like, again, could you partner him up with
Defensively.
someone that compensates?
Defensively,
Yeah, that's true. But I think going forward, when he goes through the gears, he can kind of jink past players.
Yeah, he's got that sort of
ability to
Gaza,
cover space.
like I could beat a man.
But I
kind
do
of.
think, again, I think it's, different double pivots have their different kind of combinations and players that complement each other. But if you can get someone that kind of offsets that from a defensive
Well, that's
point
why I
of
like
view, then
Spurs,
it's
because I think if you say you've Polina, who you know what he's great at, but he's not great at this bit.
Yeah.
That's where you can.
But then again, the only thing with Tottenham is that we have got Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, who I think Bergvall's been kind of profiled wrong all season. I don't think he's number 10 whatsoever. I think you want him in a pivot. Gray's the same. But maybe it could be that Gray then, over time, Paulinho becomes a loan signing for the short term. We don't get that option, and then they kind of trust Gray to be the more defensive one, and then you get a Kobe Mainu or rotate him in.
But I think the issue is you've got too many central players. So even cutting through, you've got Xavi Simmons who could play in the 10. You've got Kudus who can play there. James Maddison's coming back at some point. Then in your pivots, you've got a lot of players. So it's like, and this is what I said about not having a defined role, where it's like, I could see Kobe playing in the 10 for the right team.
Yeah,
but I could also see him playing in a double pivot for the right team. And it's about because if you were to bring him in, especially with having such young players, you're sacrificing someone else's trajectory.
But it's also
for
as
him.
a squad. I think I'm looking at it in an idealistic sense from a Tottenham point of view of like, okay, next summer, Bentancur signed like a long-term deal, which hasn't really been disclosed in terms of the length of it or terms of it. But if you could maybe, that was a vehicle to try and get some money for him potentially next summer and move him on, and Paulinho was a stopgap loan signing of someone that just needs to come in and fill a hole. And then you go full steam ahead next year on the two youngsters in midfield with Pap Sarr as well, who's another one. Basuma's not going to be here next year. And then you go and get someone like a Kobbie Mainoo as well. The only thing is that is quite young.
Yeah,
very young.
Maybe more experience heading there. But again, like these guys have already played a lot of football in terms of, it's exactly. It's a bit like Chelsea. Like they're all young, but they're all very good.
But I'd say yours is even more experienced when you look at some of the players in terms of how much they play.
And also like the situations that they were thrust into last season, Archie Gray.
Long term, that's a useful thing. There's, again, value-wise, question to you, Ben, is that you need to find a number, if you're going to buy him, that you're happy with, but Man United are kind of happy with as well. And then on top of that, part of the problem, I think, have been the wages with Mainoo, that conversation. And he'll have an agent that'll be wanting some like juicy wages as well. So that kind of makes him cost a little bit more. And just because he's gone through this little period and we've not seen him, that makes it immediately for me feel like somewhat more of a risk.
Yeah.
The rumoured price is about 45 million. When I say that number, you go, yeah, sweet.
Yeah. I'd probably
Man United go sweet?
No.
I think...
What did Man United want?
It depends on the scenario, because this, like, we were kind of chatting about this before, where it's like...
2027 is contract.
This is like the quiet version of Salah and Slot, really, where it's like, what's the next move? Because this manager's never going to play this kid.
Clearly.
And you can't let him go because you see him as your future. So it's like, who's got more staying power than ever? Because if like the quote is about 3 years and all that stuff is true, then let him go because he's not going to play for the foreseeable.
Yeah.
But if the case is right, you sell him to Tottenham in January and then by March you're like, well, we don't want Amorim in anymore.
Yeah.
You've lost your next 5 to 10 years.
And do you want to lose your two homegrown players, or 3, I guess, if you check Rashford in there? I don't know how much Rashford's on loan, isn't he? How much would he go for? Who knows? Garnacho is 35.
Yeah.
And say you lose him for 45, you've lost those 3 players aren't playing in your team, and you've got that much money.
You might have lost him for less than 100 million total, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rashford would probably, if Barcelona bought him in the summer or anybody else, you're probably only looking at like 40 million, aren't you? So it's like, just over 100 for those 3 immensely talented youngsters. And I think that's why if you're Kobbie Mainoo's agent, you're saying to him, it's like, there is a chance this guy might not be here in 12 months. Do you just want to stick it out? Do you want to go and play your football somewhere? But also, I think when Man United are so confusing, because I just think that there are so many problems there, but then they will just pick up a result, which then I feel like will Ratcliffe and those people at the top will kind of almost validate their sticking by him for just a little bit longer. And when they've been so public in their committal towards him, it's just like, it feels like there's going to be this standoff where they go through a bit of a difficult period, then they win a couple of games, and then it's like, okay, everything's fine again. And it's like, no, we are going to stick with this guy for the long term. In which case, if you're Kobbie Mainoo, it's like, I don't know, you almost want them to go on a run of like, how many games, I mean, you and Flavoy said this, like, how many games in a row do Man United need to lose for Amorim to then get the boot? Because it does feel like they will always win one to then draw them back in and validate the backing of him long term, which means Mainoo's never going to get a chance.
Like, this is so grey, this whole podcast, and I enjoy it. But like, the one that where you go, well, this is unbelievable value. If say like, I don't know, like Palace could have him on loan.
Yeah.
And you know you're not going to get him long term, but like you get to have him. Like that's an amazing one for. He has to leave in January.
Yeah, he
like, on loan at the very, very least. Because I don't think Amorim's going anywhere. I really don't know.
And you're messing with.
It'll get crazy ugly.
You're messing with him in the sense that like everyone will reference like the Euro 2024 and he's starter for England and all this stuff, and we're going into 2026 thinking, is he even going to get on the plane? And not because he's been playing badly, because he's not playing.
Yeah.
So and I guess football is a business, so they don't owe him anything. But it's like, don't rob him of the opportunity of being at the World Cup. And even if you're going to send him to a club that isn't a direct rival in terms of positions for United, or if it's abroad, just let him go and play, because everyone loses through him being on the bench.
Yeah.
Literally everyone.
Do you know what? Even in this list, I'm having him further down because I don't know who he is anymore because I'm not seeing him.
Yeah, that's fair. I think one of the reasons why I'm not
it's not fair.
Yeah,
that's kind of the point. But
I think one of the reasons where, like we spoke earlier about, has he missed kind of crucial years of his development? I think Euro 2024, not just because of how good he was, but because when you think about international football, and maybe it's changed a little bit with Tuchel, and you can kind of see the tactical evolution of that England team. Like, if someone can just kind of have a few months at Man United where they get given an opportunity and then go and perform on that stage in the manner that he did, where under Southgate, and I don't want to patronise Southgate because I loved him, but it felt like the tactical element of it wasn't as sophisticated and wasn't as, like, not as important, because that's just a stupid thing to say, but if he can just go and have the freedom to go and perform in the way that he did and just do it and figure it out, that doesn't make me worried about any development that he's messed out on necessarily, because that kind of just makes me think that if he goes under a new manager that goes, okay, we want to play in this way, I just feel like he could pick it up very, very quickly.
I think it would have been good for him, because if you play in that system, like in Amorim's system for 2 years or whatever it's been since, or a year and a half, you can become a system player. Yeah, you can become a system player, and he's kind of avoided.
Well, that's the best bit of it, isn't it? There's a freedom to him, isn't there?
Exactly, and I think that's where, like, when you look at Southgate kind of going off still, but like I think that's why Foden struggled in that era, in that time, because there wasn't a big emphasis on tactical instructions that he's used to. And this guy's played for Guardiola for so long that's the football he's used to. So when it's like this, like, go and play football sort of situation, he's like, where's the structure? Like, where am I supposed to be? Where am I supposed to stand to be as effective?
And that's why I think under Southgate, like, those personalities sort of rose to the top a little bit more, because it was like Mainu, Bellingham, because it was just like, and I'm not saying Foden has so much personality on the pitch, but in terms of that side of it, he does feel like a player that needs the clear instructions, and just kind of like, there's a freedom within clear instruction that he then does get. Whereas like Mainu and Bellingham were kind of just like, and the defence as well, they play on that heart, that personality, and, you know, it was more of a kind of pragmatic system anyway, but those are the players that I think that's why they really thrived under Southgate, because it was just like, we'll do it, we'll kind of figure it out and make it happen.
Next up, I've got in sixth spot, I've got Semenyo.
Oh,
I've got him fifth, so yeah.
Yeah, I had Buwadi higher because I'm going for the hipster.
Respect.
I had him a bit higher.
Semenyo, 25. I was sort of, I mean, all of these names, as you've noticed, I'm having a generational stinker here, but I've had them kind of all over the place. Semenyo, I sort of wince a little bit when I think of him at Liverpool, or going into the fire of Man United a little bit.
Do you think Semenyo is a needle mover for a top? I was having this discussion yesterday in a group chat. Do you think he's a needle mover for like a top team? Do you?
He's. I think he could. It might be overstating a bit, but I feel like he could be like the Mane signing for like a top team.
Yeah, he's been compared to that a lot for Liverpool.
That's interesting.
Like I watch a player where I see him going left, going right, makes no difference to him.
Yeah.
The difference is, and probably why you sometimes see him go for really good spells and then slow down in production, is a similar issue that maybe like someone like Zaha had at Palace. Is that teams know you're good now. Yeah. So it's, okay, we need to deal with you. And then you'll notice when there's times where, like, say him, if he's doing really well and then Justin Clive is doing really well, teams can't afford to just stand like Mark Semenyo. Now he can get his 1v1s out the way. So if I look at the season, I thought, right, if Semenyo was in the positions that Gakpo was in this season, does he score the chances that come his way? And I think yes.
Be more ruthless, better decision making. Yeah.
And I feel like for Liverpool, I love it. For Manchester United, not so much.
Yeah, I think for Liverpool, I think that feels like the best. If he's going to go,
if he was 21, would you feel differently?
I think he's high. I think Liverpool need to get back to being a high energy team, and I think he can help with that. The thing, maybe it's like the Kirkes thing. I guess you could afford the opportunity to go, let's play like they played, like Bournemouth played last year in utilising Kirkes and Semenyo together. So there's something nice in that. I do think there's something in the fact that like Bournemouth play with pace.
Yeah.
And when you play with pace, the opposition aren't set yet. And that can be great for players like Kirkes and Semenyo. I wonder against a low block, I'd be fascinated to see how he did. But he is so direct and he'll go at you. You know, he can go on the left side or the right side. He can play on the left side or the right side. The reason I had him quite high up was because 25's, there's sort of the Mbeumo element of like, he's been around. And he's had a journey, which I think is a plus.
Yeah, I like that.
But he's young, and the triggering of the release clause in the 65 mil. If you're getting a proven like Premier League player, he's not a child, but he's not old, and you can get it for 65 million.
I think if he's, but I would say like
I'd love him
If
at
he
Spurs
was
as
20,
Yeah, he
There's
feels
another one.
very he feels very frank,
Sorry.
doesn't he? I think Semenyo.
yeah,
Very
if he was if he was 21, I think it'd be like a no-brainer in terms of you can see that progression. I feel like you get, I don't know what everyone's age is, but sometimes you hear 25 and you go, oh. But I just think he's different to Kirkes in the sense where I think he's struggled because of this, like the way he's been deployed at Liverpool.
I agree.
Yeah.
Whereas Semenyo, if I just look at him as a direct replacement for Gakpo in that sense, and he's very underrated in tight spaces as well. I think I
mean,
just
that goal
see
against
him.
Fulham, remember that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see him just being extremely useful. And
I
that's-
really hope that like the journey that he's had would give him the confidence in himself to go, I belong up here.
Yeah.
My fear is that it might be the opposite, that he's got there
And, just
and
sort
it
of
might
shrinks
feel
it.
too
syndrome.
big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas
and I feel
yeah.
like would that not have been as much as it's probably like a lower scale, but like going from like Bristol City to Bournemouth in the Prem, like
But
you're
Bournemouth
gonna
does
have that
not.
bit of, but you're still gonna have that bit of, whoa, like a few years ago I was playing for Bath City in the
But once he's in
the
there
It's
and
like a
National
bit of
League.
imposter syndrome. a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
I don't see that from him in the sense that he gives me that air of like humility that he would understand the situation and just be like, okay, now I've got to work. The difference is where we've seen that imposter syndrome, it's like I think it's a lack of self-belief. And I feel like this summer just gone, I think he was more than ready to move. And then it didn't happen. And then he could have been like, oh, like they've blocked my move. Dean Hoyce
Yeah,
has been
that's
able
a
to go,
good point.
Zabani's been able to go,
Yeah.
Kirkers, and you're holding me hostage,
Mm.
not letting me go.
Well, he signed a new
But then
contract.
what does he do? He starts the season.
Yeah. And he signed a new deal, didn't he? Which I think was probably a
For the clause.
vehicle to get the release clause in
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love him. I
I
think
ha-
he's wonderful, and he's the kind of players you want
I
to
hadn't
watch.
really had.
I just there's a little bit of me that I wonder if it would the
know what you
altitude would
mean.
feel too high.
I know-
Just
I
as
know
Bournemouth
what
is
you
playing for an 11,000. Like there's not that kind of spotlight, and there's a good freedom about the way that Iriola gets that team to play, where you just like go for it.
Yeah.
Whereas I wonder if that would feel like a different space at a different place.
The one that confuses me a little bit with Semenyo is Man City. Because they feel like a name that's been sort of banded around as much as Liverpool have and as much as Tottenham have, and as Arsenal is a bit of an unknown because it's like, can they spend again like they did? But the Man
It feels
City
like a
one,
backup there, doesn't it? He'd be a backup
Yeah.
for like a Doku, or if there's games where he wants to have those two wide guys instead of the way
Yeah.
they're playing at the moment.
but it feels like he's almost so committed to the Cherky, Foden, Doku
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
doesn't he?
why
Like the
wouldn't
three
he?
narrow sort of
I
number
wouldn't-
10s with Doku, the freedom to come in and out. But
I wouldn't go there if I was
No.
him. Honestly, the three would be Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's the way I would be looking at.
Arsenal on the left is a good shout
yeah.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've got him there. Who have you? Did you have anyone else here? Are we all?
What
Wait,
are you,
what
what are you
position?
up to?
I'm
Fifth?
Wow.
up to six. Oh, but yeah, six.
So
fifth.
Semenyo was fifth for me. Yeah, he was fifth
Okay,
for me.
who's your
Belieber was
sixth?
sixth. Belieber was sixth.
Okay, who's your sixth? You had Believer, didn't you?
Yeah, Believer 6.
Okay, cool. So fifth, I had Mateta. We've spoken about.
Mm.
Did anyone else have anyone that we've not spoken about?
No, I had Semenyo.
I had Semenyo third, to be fair. I have Elliot Anderson 5th.
Fifth.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put it together. I had Buwadi in fourth. Who did you have in?
Fourth, I've got Adam Wharton.
Okay.
You got Wharton 4th?
Who have you got fourth?
Kobe Manu.
Okay.
I got Wharton 2nd.
Okay. So I've got Wharton second and Anderson third.
Yeah.
Let's just give you the tailor the tape here, guys. So Elliot Anderson, 23, 19 appearances, a goal, an assist, numerous stats where he's very impressive, including I think he's won the most duels this year. Transfermarkt have him at 39.3 million. His contract expires in 2029. Wages of 40,000. Rumoured price 100 milli. Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and Man City, Man United, and Liverpool all interested in the midfielder. Apparently,
You see 100 million?
For Wharton.
that's the
No.
rumoured price.
No,
but
for
Anderson.
Anderson.
Wharton,
Yeah.
21, 2 years younger. Transfermarkt have him down at 52.4 million. His contract also expires 2029. Wages apparently are 35 grand a week, and the rumoured price 70 mil.
I just think the value for money on Elliot Anderson, I just don't.
I think there's really good value on him. I think Wharton feels like the £100 million player because of the aesthetics and the way that he can dictate the tempo of
You
the
see
game.
that pass he did there,
For-
outside of his left
Do you
foot?
think he? Oh, against Fulham, yeah, the one with the
Yeah.
outside, yeah. I was going to say about the assist as well. Like, I don't even care if he didn't mean that to go to Nketiah. It's just like
Alright.
it just looks so good. I'm just like,
Yeah.
and also like you believe that he would be good enough to do that and anticipate that run coming in off the left. But yeah, the one with the outside was a joke, and he played so well on Sunday. But I do think I personally think there's slightly more value in Anderson, even though I prefer Wharton as a player, just because I love the way that he dictates games and the tempo that he plays with. And I think he has the aesthetics over Anderson as well, just being left-footed and just the way he passes and whatever, and he's always looking for the forward option. But I just think for the all-round package, I think there's slightly more value in Anderson as well.
I think
And I think you might be able to get him slightly cheaper.
Anderson,
You think you get Anderson cheaper?
no.
Not much. I think it'd be similar. It's the same ballpark, whatever. 100 million, 90 million, it's the same ballpark. I
If
think.
you play, so I put Wharton above Anderson because I think that the top teams,
You need a Wharton.
you want to. I think he's more of a. I'm gonna. I'll sit here.
Yeah.
I feel like Anderson. They both have great engines, and like put your hands together. Imagine those two together
Oh.
anywhere. That is like, if by some like miracle, Man United could find like an outrageous amount of money and get both of those two lads, that's
It's a great.
a
pairing,
game
yeah.
changer.
Yeah.
But I do think they are somewhat different. I think Anderson is more like can't stand still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Wharton
yeah.
is a bit more of a glider.
Yeah.
Although he is able to
Floats
get
through
about the
games,
ball,
isn't it?
he's also. They both got this great thing that like. I don't know if it's like a northern man thing, but like I expect them to come out of a tackle and have won it.
Yeah.
They win their tackles, which is great for both. But yeah, with the contract being the same, I just think the top teams need a guy. Will probably want a guy who, yes, I can create something, but I'm happy to sit here. Anderson will do that. He's doing that for England brilliantly, but I feel like Anderson wants to get about a bit more, and he's afforded that at
I think-
Forest.
I was going to say, though, do you think that's down to the system at Forest and the way that they are a counter-attacking team, and Ange's team played with loads of energy as well? I mean, it didn't
No, I
work,
think
but
that's
it's kind of
just-
like... I do feel like Anderson, under the right manager, could be sort of tempered to just be like, okay, let's just rein it in a touch. And because his line-breaking passing metrics are like insanely good, he can his pie chart looks probably more full than Wharton's, I guess. And that's kind of what makes me think that, although I get you're right, in terms of the top sides that just want to dictate the tempo of the game, control the game, and have someone to sit at the base of the midfield. And like, he'd be great. He would have been great at Arsenal if they hadn't gone and bought Zubimendi. Like, he's that kind of player.
If you're talking value, I guess the one thing that's the opposite here is that if you go Anderson could play as a 10, an 8, and a 6.
I think that's
You
why I'm looking at
needed
the
him
value
to.
because he's
Yeah,
so
but it's-
complete, I think.
But I don't think that's what you sign players
Yeah.
at the
Yeah, that's
upper,
fair.
like
At the
at
top level.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's
that's
why
fair.
I've
and
got
that's why I
Wharton
say
above.
with Wharton, like I could see him slot him in at Liverpool, push Gravenberch a bit forward. Even if he came to Chelsea, give Caicedo the room to roam. To put him in any club, you see the value of every other midfielder go up. I think the issue with Anderson, and it's like probably further goes into maybe how we like to watch football here, is like the all action guy that can do a bit of everything is like seen as the guy that's like, yeah, let's get him because he can do everything. And there was a similar issue with like Declan Rice when he went from West Ham to Arsenal, because you see him do all these things for West Ham initially, then Arsenal say, right, we're going to subdue you, we want you to play in this role. And it's like, wait, this isn't the Declan Rice that we know. Then they spend more money to rectify an issue that they already
that's
had.
a great point.
So like,
and
if
went and got a Wharton.
if Anderson,
that's a great point.
because if Anderson went to Arsenal, for example, I'd want him and Rice as like essentially 2 8s and then have a
He's
6
almost
behind him.
like-
So
yeah,
I'd still want a Wharton in that midfield, and that's
Yeah.
why I think
That's
Wharton
it.
for me is like
You're right.
the guy.
To,
Yeah, I
to
think that's
exactly
fair. I
your
think
point
that's
about Liverpool and Chelsea. Like, if you put him with Gravenberch, if you put him with Caicedo, it's like which one of us gets to go. I think it'll be more like that. Unless like you just go out crazy like man to man marking, you still need someone to kind of sit there a touch.
Yeah.
But which I mean, look, Wharton's playing in a 2, and he's able to get about the pitch. Yeah, I flip flop on it a lot. Because if you ask me who should start for England right now, I say you would send Anderson's shirt.
Yeah.
I don't think you can give that to Wharton.
Why?
But I think we want to see...
Because I think he's been so good there.
Yeah.
But I feel like
And I think he behaved. I think in that England team right now, I think he behaved. I think
This
he
is what I mean. If he then went...
Anderson or Wharton.
Anderson.
But I feel like my issue's always been when watching England, and I guess it would change under Tuchel with more instruction. It's like whenever England play these like the lower end sides, who like to sit off, especially in tournament, and they've gone with like Rice and Henderson or these or even put Jude in there. I'm like thinking, how are we getting this ball from A to B and without overexposing ourselves? I think just, do you know what? I'll be honest, I'd play both of them. I'd play both of them, but it's like...
Well, for England?
For me, I'm a big Wharton, and probably because I watched him since he was at Blackburn, but like, and I love him. But I genuinely think you don't lose if you pick up, like, it's apples and pears really, but
yeah,
I would just love to see that type of midfield actually get a chance for England, because we keep, since the days of like Carrick and stuff, we say, oh, we've always had this kind of midfielder, but we've never appreciated it.
Are we going to go through another generation where the guy that actually could have been the key to what we missed out on gets kind of passed on? But I don't think...
Because I think Wharton, if you end up playing in those like high level games, those like, you start playing against your Spains, your Brazils, your Argentinas and stuff like that, like, I think Wharton, you might need him a bit more in terms of
I think Anderson's very press proof.
I think so as well.
Yeah, but if he's going here, there and everywhere, and they're tactically
I think for
brilliant,
England he'll behave.
This is,
no, but
you're going to text me, aren't you, in the summer game?
Yeah.
He didn't fucking behave.
Yeah.
But getting told, like, I get it, getting told to behave is one thing, but it's like when you rein in someone that's got so much to give, it's like you might lose a element.
I think it's different though from what you're saying about Rice. I totally get your point, but like, I don't think you're going to lose much if you rein Anderson in as you do with Rice, because I think he's got so many other outstanding capabilities. I think sometimes when you look at how complete a midfielder is, it's almost like they're an 8 out of 10 in all of these, or maybe like a 7 out of 10 in all these kind of metrics. But I think if you did sort of slightly temper and mould Anderson as to how Tuchel was done for England, and you see him just sit and dictate the tempo a little bit more and play those balls to Rice to let him go, that doesn't mean that those other levels can't go up if he then goes to a club side that's got the level of manager of someone like a Tuchel as well. I think that he can excel in those other areas rather than just being like an all-rounder. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's like we do... I don't know, like I see the value in that all-round option, but I also see, like you said, the value in someone that can just then elevate those other players a touch to bring.
It's a risk of paper.
It's nothing in it.
But Anderson is very available all the time,
and that's Wharton's injury record as well comes into it. I think as well. Like.
Question for the comments, please give me your answer. When I think Anderson, I've said this from day one. When I see Anderson, I see Gerrard. He's got just a snarl and he's in a rush.
Such a bite about him. Yeah, I love him.
When I see Wharton, I can't find the player.
And that's the beauty of him.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the beauty.
So can you let me know, if you can find that player, could you please let me know in the comments down below?
You know what? The interesting thing is, I actually look at, say, we spoke about like Buadi and midfielders like that. I think you're more likely to find a legs midfielder in terms of a Buadi, an Anderson, and those like kind of guys that can like carry the ball and make things happen. I feel like when you find a Wharton type player, and obviously I'm not going to make grand comparisons to like the type of players we've seen throughout history, but it's like they're rarer than we think. Ones that are actually effective as well. So I think that's why I had Wharton higher than Anderson, because I feel like I know in the next year or two I'll stumble across another Anderson type that can be serviceable. I don't know how long I can go by finding Wharton, because I think the only other profile England as a whole have that is like a Wharton is probably Angel Gomez. But then you look at their physical profiles, and it's the opposite end of the spectrum. So to get the balance of like someone who can play and can win the duels and all this stuff as people would like to look for in this country, you've only got one man.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got stocks in Wharton.
I've got big stocks.
So
don't let me down, boy.
So we've gone from 10 to 2. It sounds like we've all got the same number 1. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mark Gay, congratulations.
Mark Gay.
25 years old, 23 games. He's scoring goals. He's got 4 assists.
This season?
Yeah.
Has he got like 9 goal contributions or something this year? Like,
right.
Is that right?
I've only got 6 here. I've only got 6 here, but like still, that's enough. I think he was number 1 for me because obviously I think you could drive down. You could still probably drive it down if you could get it done in January. It'll be interesting to see how firm Palace hold.
Yeah.
Because I guess, and this is a chat I had with Nedham, like when it didn't happen, it's like we get to this point, Palace are in a fun position. So it might come to one where like Gay's like, I'm playing. We've got, this team's currently in the Champions League spots. Like, we could go and win the Conference League as well. Like, let's just do the right thing. Maybe this is meant to be.
And
so it'd be interesting if you could get that down? Like, I mean, how much? It feels like one where Palace are going, no, I need this amount for him to come through the door, because I feel like they've lost him already.
Well, also, Liverpool's situation that they currently find themselves in might make Palace kind of drive that price also back up. So it's like, you know, but then again, Parish has kind of been quite open about the fact that he would prefer to sell him. But then again, maybe they didn't anticipate having such a good season. So then the emotion of it might make Parish then kind of change his mind a little bit.
But I think
that's true.
There's elements of it where you look at it and say, there's two sides to it. Where the World Cup's coming up, I'm playing well, everything's going well.
Yeah, do you want
Let
to
me not
disrupt
halt
that
my momentum by going elsewhere? And also, I'm a free agent in the summer. I can literally talk to any club in the world and drive my wages up if I want to, because there's no sign and all the signing on fees. But the reason I think he's number one is because outside of Liverpool, you're the obvious contenders for him. There are a lot of teams that could do with that level of centre back, including my club. Like, if Gay's available, I'd go and get him in the state that are like centre back core.
You have to come back for players you let go 11 at some point, because that is an outstanding 11 you can find. I think I had him in for value, because if you are the buying team and you can get a centre back, even for like transfer market saying 43.7, rumoured price 35. Even if you get it for 40, I guess the one issue you've got if you're Palace is you go, does that mean Glasner just walks? Which I hope he wouldn't do that. But for Liverpool, to the value of getting a player at that level for that price to solve that problem that you've got right now,
literally the biggest no-brainer in football history.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting to see how pressurised is that pressure point to go. Because Konate, like I say, I think Konate is struggling. So Liverpool probably want to get this done. Yeah. Because it was written here, like Real Madrid, would they have a little sniff? Like,
I love it. They either sign players for 100 mil or nothing, don't they? So.
Yeah.
They've been going down the nothing route lately as well. And I think you look at it and say, a team would probably buy him or try to buy him purely because they don't want to enter the pool of teams that might be there in like June, July time, because certain clubs might not win that battle. So it's like, okay, if we can offer the money now and entice him now before anyone else gets their hands on him,
you win the battle with your wallet, don't you? Rather than the credibility and status of your club. Like, it would be incredibly funny if after all this, after Real Madrid looking at Konate for so long, then pulling out of that race for them Real Madrid to go and sign Mark Gay.
Oh my word!
But it's
totally possible.
I'll be honest. Like, if it was a case where Konate looked like he down tools, it'd be fine. But he just looks bad. Yeah. And it's like a bad advert. Like, because sometimes people say, "Oh, he's not trying a leg." Like, we see he wants to leave. It's like, you are trying, but you're not doing well, and you're costing your team. So the teams that, or Real Madrid as it seems to have been, they're gonna watch this guy like, surely this ain't the guy that we're signing. When we're trying to like work to the next stage, we brought in Heisen already, and like we're trying to rebuild ourselves back to getting to the heights of winning Champions League. We've got a certain window of Vinny and Mbappe and these guys. I'm not risking it bringing in a guy that's could be doing this in a quarterfinal of a Champions League. Like,
and the one thing you'll have at Real Madrid is pressure.
And
that is what he seems like he's struggling with a little bit.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
The guys, links to the guys are in the description. Big 2026 for both of them, inevitably. January transfer window for Spurs, so if you want all your Spurs stuff there. TikTok as well. And Carell, huge moves on the horizon, I presume.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Yeah? That means yes. If you could, please do follow the podcast, support the podcast, give it a 5-star rating. Always gives us a chance to continue to do well. Thank you for listening, and we'll speak soon.